Mm. All right, all right, all right. Shalom, shalom, and shalom, Sister Deborah, coming this evening with a message, and it's talking of we're going to talk about learning more about the rod, ROD, the rod. Um, I think it can be called several things in the Hebrew, uh, outside of just the rod, and it carries a mystery. Did I know? No, I had no idea until the Holy Spirit revealed to me that the rod has a mystery to it. But what I did know is that by the Father being the I am, that means he can be whatever he want, when he want, and how he want to be it. And no one can tell him to whom or what he could be, and he can be or cannot be. So when I think of this rod, I realize that I'm 65 years old and I have not heard anything about the rod. So when the Father revealed to me the rod, I said, Father, that's a really good lesson, and I had no idea that a mystery is within that rod. And we're going to talk about that today. And first and foremost, we want to understand what is a rod in Hebrew. What is a rod? So we're going to cover that, but I also want to talk about several things. And one thing I want to talk about is um, uh, I don't know what to call Judah or Black Americans or whatever. Uh, Anyone come around you and begin to tell you that Iran is sending a message, or if you hear someone say that, address that situation. Okay, it's important to address. It's a sad thing that you're not going to find Judah addressing Iran, if it's Iran making these statements about Judah or Black Americans. They want to talk to us now and tell us what they're doing to us here. What do and why must we listen to them now? You see, and that's why I say there is such a heavy mental issue among Judah, because they can't discern that they not only, let's say for instance, even if they can't discern, they can't seem to comprehend that Iran has no reason to send messages or to send word over here to a melanated or to Judah or to Black Americans. You don't have a word for us. So therefore, don't send no word this way. Okay. And I think that this also shows the level of where Judah men stand in this day and time. They stand, to me, I know for a fact that they stand in the lane where there's mental issues, because they can't seem to behold or take on or communicate at a level of being able to discern in a sense, or be able to understand that things are not the way they make it out to be. It really isn't, because when you really find out that all nations is going to enter into the kingdom, and then I hear all this about the nations coming up to Mount Zion, and how there's going to be strangers, which is other nations, you know uh, 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 in Mount Zion along with the house of Israel, and when it come down to really teaching it, they Judah won't teach that. You won't get them to teach that. They don't want to come nowhere near that. They got a level of hate as well, but their type of hate is still not going to override what the Father already got planned. So it's a lot of things they out here teaching Judah, that's, I say, 90% is wrong. But Judah is looking like they lost, so I guess they give them what they need. a message that helped them in their state of mind that's lost. Um, so I've seen that so many times that they keep saying that Iran sent a message to the Black Americans regarding America. That if Judah, which is considered the Black Americans, that's here from the Atlantic slave trade, I would say, that's connected to that. If you have to listen to Iran, then to me, as a prophetess in the wilderness, you are more sicker than I could even imagine. It's a deep, deep, deep sick, because Iran is the last individual. Iraq, Iran, all of them over in the Middle East is the last individual we as Judah or Israel, true Israel, shall want to hear. No one in this world has a word for us, y'all. We can't continue to think that and be that weak. And like I said, if we had enough males that stepped in spirit and truth, enough males that are the light. And as I was speaking earlier, the problem is you don't have the light is not can't be the light because they say they the light. They got to be the light because heaven created them to be the light. So this is why you don't see very many individuals that represent the light, because they just can't. Everybody can't just pull up and say they the light. Everybody can't just pull up and say that I'm spirit and truth. I'm the light, or I'm full of the Holy Spirit, and I have the Ruach HaKodesh or the Holy Spirit. They can say it, but it don't mount up to anything. You see, they saying it because they living in the world, and the world lives online. You see, but don't let Iran, and the reason why I said that is because they are so embedded in taking things that didn't belong to them out of the Israel and Jerusalem during the time that they came to take over, and they brought many things over. They were included. Iran, Iraq, they ain't fooling nobody. Now, this is the problem I'm having, that I don't understand why nobody talk about it. Esau. And because Judah has a level of so much confusion, let me tell you why. The only reason why you all don't understand what Sister Deborah is saying is because you got to think of Judah being the one that if nobody get it, they should have. You get what I'm saying? If nobody can get it, they should have gotten it. Okay. Judah is also the one that the house of Israel, if Judah bust a move, the house of Israel would have at least bust a move right after them. Meaning, if Judah would just went to the left just a little bit, the house of Israel will move to the left, because it's the way heaven created it, is that Judah is in the midst of Israel as the one. You get what I'm saying? But when you are living in the world and you looking at Judah don't seem to be the one outside of the one that seemed to be lost to the degree of mental, because anybody can tell Judah, and when I say it, it's sad. Anybody can tell Judah anything and they will believe it. But they won't believe when Judah telling Judah. They won't believe when Judah telling Judah. So it's some things built up in Judah that I know that if Judah is going to make it to the other side, it would have to be what Yah already has invested in that remnant of Judah. You see, I don't think he's coming from every corner, and even in the midst of it, those that I want to tell y'all, those that are the remnant, they're not like you all think. Goody. They innocent, and they don't have no sin, no iniquity, no, because they're full of crap. But yet it's something in their spirit man that the Father has invested in them. And with that being said, he's willing to clean them up on the outside. because he knows what he has invested in them on the inside. Why? Because he did it before the foundation of the world, you see. So he's coming to get what he know he created in those that he has created it. Now, it don't mean that they have not sinned and they have not did iniquity. They have lied and done all kind of things. No, he didn't say that. His remnant is not the one that is sinless and have not done any iniquity or wrongdoing. No, no. All you have to do is think about all the things in Ezekiel 36 that he said he's going to do to clean up when he bring Israel over. Okay, so you have to think of all that stuff he said he's going to clean up and he's going to put in them. So this is letting you know that when you think of the remnant and those that Yah is taking and leading over to Mount Zion, it is not people like many would think, holy than thou, or and that's how people mindset is. That's why so many pastors and bishops and priests and bishop, that's how people are kissing their feet by the thousand and worshiping them. It's because they're looking at them to be something that does not represent the true creator. They just looking at that position and assuming that they are all that and some, and that they're innocent and that they're sinless, to where if they say they got the number one pedophiles inside of the priest and the pope, no one will believe it. Why? Because the hearts of people are so geared to putting them up too high on pedestals, so close to the Father. I don't, and it's amazing, but that's how they do pastors. Anybody can be a pastor. Anybody that say they are pastor, they can be a pastor. And they lead the multitude by great number. Then people put them high on a pedestal. They even put their wives on a pedestal. They put the church on a pedestal. And to where they don't even give people spirit and truth, y'all. But yet they so high up in the world as far as on a pedestal in darkness that the people just seem like they really enjoy the darkness that they teach them. They act like this is the full meal deal that they need, they desire. So I want to go back to Iran, Iraq, none of them. With me, I'm looking at also Esau, okay, because I realize that the father is coming after Esau, okay. Edom is supposed to have been a place, but Esau is a people that the father called Isaac, son. You get what I'm saying? And I think that a lot of you all don't really get it among Judah, because they still keep thinking that we the true people, we the Israelite, we the 12 tribes. But when you think of Jacob having a brother, you can't just make him European. You just can't make him strictly European, people. And I know that's the way they're teaching it and want people to believe it. It doesn't make sense. You see, if it just doesn't make sense for it to be all. I mean, it's not the. I would say more so Middle Eastern, somewhere over in there, or mixed with Middle Eastern and European. But I just can't see it just being strictly Europe. Esau being strictly European. They have to, because as I was thinking, something I came upon and I said, Father, I didn't know you coming after Esau. No, not, I knew he was coming after Esau, but he's coming after Esau as the one that is Jacob's brother, twin brother. So you just can't put a European up against Jacob and just assume that that's his twin brother. I don't care how red his hair was and is. And a lot of people don't know, even Ethiopian and over in all of those hot desert land, people here are blind. People here are blind. And we think in our mind as Judah, we think that blind is for Europeans, and that's where our sickness is at. We don't understand. We don't come outside the box in which they have placed us in and have taught us all these years to believe. And that ain't their fault. That's ours. Because if light is to come out of darkness in the end days and you don't see light, it's because you're not supposed to come out of darkness. So in Iran and Iraq, they played a big part in taking things they should not have taken. And I believe Esau is also part of the Middle Eastern. They played a big role. Like a lot of people, melanated people, I would say Judah, don't understand that Ham played such a big role in making sure you get over here, okay? To be slaves. You know, we know that it is just the will of the Father, but it's just the mindset of their teaching and what they believe that seems like to me is totally mental, because it don't take them where they need to go in the light. It takes them deeper in darkness, as if it's not meant for them to see and understand nor comprehend anything. That's the way it appeared to me, which would make sense also, because if they don't take heed to the light, which is the most high, what do you expect them to take heed to? Because the Father is the light. I want to also talk about, and don't take Judah. Don't get embedded with Iran, Iraq, the Arabs. The Arabs, none of them mean you no good. They're in it together, people. They're never care or have anything, as you would say, good for Judah. And Judah, I know he's down, and but somewhere in him, he can't awaken, because you got too much mental. You got too much mental going on here to be able to grip the reality of anything. So there go my door. Let me open that door for this young man. Yeah. So I'm thinking, in my little heart, I'm thinking, Father, even anything that they teach as far as awakening, it's like it puts, to me, from what I see, it puts them backwards. It makes them go backwards. Because to me, I think it's a lot of stuff that the Father is revealing. And I believe that if you can't see what is being revealed, something somewhere is wrong. Okay. So dealing with Ham, Iran, the Arabs, Iraq. No, 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 no. Don't. I know I can't tell them, Judah, to not deal with them on that level, because, like I said, when Judah is all the way gone, it's nothing you can really say to him around about now. He has to wait to that part in tribulation where Jacob's trouble come in. You see, because he got to feel that thing. Because Judah is not going to awaken. Now, I ain't looking for Judah to awaken, but Judah's mental state of mind is not going to see clear for some reason or another. So they're going to have to. Now, see, the thing about the Jacob's trouble, they didn't have to fall into Jacob's trouble, because heavens would have released them from Jacob's trouble. But what the Father want me to let you know is they never saw anything. They never saw anything. He said they've been here 400 and some odd years, and still yet it's like they didn't learn anything. They didn't owned up to anything. They still thinking it's about them being the true Jews, not understanding that you have to come take it a little higher, bro. You have to take it higher than that. You got to take it in the spirit realm. The battle is not in the flesh of you being a Jew. It's in the spirit of who you are, if anything. Okay. So another thing is, I want to tell y'all, this war is a clown. This war that's going on is a clown show, and it's showing itself. It's clowning, and people are buying tickets by hundreds, by great numbers. People are buying the whole year stack of tickets to the clown show. Okay, that's what this war is, and this war also, uh, um, it's going to bring it's going to bring on this thing called peace, peace, and then it's going to turn up. You see what I'm saying? So you have to have, before that time come that says peace, peace, you have to have a what? A war, okay? And this is what is happening. But it's a lot of it. Let me tell y'all, being in the wilderness allowed me to see it for what it is. Not what it ain't, but what it is. Not what you see it on all these platforms, what you read in the news, in the newspaper, and all. It's not, I don't see it like that. It's not given to me to see it like that. I see it for what it is. I see it still walking my Father's will out. That's the first and foremost. I know all things in the power of the hands of the Most High God. That I do see, and it's walking His will out. No matter how we see it, whether it's good or bad, His will override it all. Okay, and it's going to go according to His will. Okay, so you all have heard in time past where it was said that it's going to come a time where they're going to say peace, peace. Okay, now before you can say that it's peace, peace, you first have to say what? Peace for what? It has to be a what? A war. Okay, so this is what I think they are doing in this clown show. It's a clown show to me, and let me tell you the reason why I'm saying it as a student of the Holy Spirit taught from the wilderness is because I don't like the idea, even though I can't do nothing about it, and it's never going to be measured by the way I like it, okay, or the way I see it. But what I'm seeing and what I don't like is that this is a country that's actually bringing it down, bringing the country down from the inside, and it's the only way they can do that. They have to be able to fully manipulate the people here to think a certain way, to comprehend a certain way, to see things a certain way, to brainwash them a certain way. And it does an excellent job. It's been doing it since this country been here, because people are so molded to the wicked and evil in this country, to everything is norm. People talk about Epstein and they'll turn around and next thing you know, it become normal. You see, it's the hearts of the people here. They make wicked and evil, abomination, all this flesh eating, blood licking, and all of this blood drinking. I mean, and all of this children sex trafficking, women sex trafficking, organ trafficking, all of this stuff. Y'all been going on way before y'all was even born. You see, why has it exist? It's because this country enjoys this, y'all. They really enjoy this sort of thing. This is and what y'all didn't understand. This is why I know that Judah is cuckoo clocked. Is because if we have to take on the sins of our fathers, what makes you think a country of people, of Europeans, are not going to have to take up of their father? They are, and they have. It's just that the media never allow us to really know how much and what capacity that they've been doing all the wicked and evil in this country, because it kept it from the media, and now everything goes, they don't care. And that's what I was telling y'all. You see all this online now, and I'm like saying, who's killing them like this? And then the Spirit said, no, Deborah, it's just that everything is in the open now. They don't care if you know that they out there killing their own way beyond anybody in this country. Any nation in this country killing themselves at great numbers is the Europeans. But he said they've been doing that. It's just they kept it out of the media. They only wanted them to see Judah in a situation and not themselves. And with that being said, the Father was also saying, whether they saw it or they did not see it, it ran down their bloodline, like we paying the consequences for the sin of our forefathers. So shall they. You see, and because it was hidden to where they hid it themselves. Many of them hid it themselves. Even if it wasn't in the media, they knew that their family history has done all kind of evil and wicked. You see, it's in history books. It's all over where they can know that this is the type of people our family, because a lot of them think that people think that they inherit something because of who they are. A lot of times people got what they have is because of the darkness that's behind it. Okay, so when you see the war that's taking place, it's a part of also bringing this country down. It's a judgment on this land as well. You get what I'm saying? And I know many of you all might not be able to comprehend that because you think this land is the cleanest floor in the world, and you don't understand it's the blood shedding, murderous land on the face of the earth. I know y'all don't want to understand that, and I don't have no problem with that. But that's what the tribulation and the perilous times is going to hit you, and it's going if you bent now, it's going to straighten you up. It's going to straighten you up. So the war is going to play a big role in bringing this country finances and everything down, and then AI gonna pick it up from there and glitch. It's gonna be some type of glitch that's gonna bring everything down, but it's gonna be AI of the system. That's another thing y'all don't understand. It's a system. Okay, and the United States is using it to the utmost because it knows it has to bring the people in this country down. And because the people in this country have done away, has agreed with every evil and wicked abomination, all these things. See, when you hear people eating children and drinking blood and sex trafficking babies and sex trafficking women and men and boys, when you hear of all that and eating flesh and all, guess what, y'all? They've been doing that before we was born. They've been doing it. So it's almost like, okay, where are we at today? It's where the Father will is pulling down. He's pulling it down. He's showing you that this stuff has always existed. And look how normal it is for the people. It doesn't even move the people at all. The 500,000 children that came over the border to come over here to this country, you all had no idea that was one of their plans. See, y'all didn't know why they was bringing all them people over here. That was one of the plans. Now you see how they took them back, but they didn't get to go back with all them, that 500,000 children. What happened to all them children? You see what I'm saying? Where's the court system in this country? Where's the law? You see, nowhere to be seen because all of them are dark. You get what I'm saying? And this here is the reason why I speak the way that I speak. I speak as the light revealed it to me. I speak it at that level. I know that everything he gives me in the wilderness is 100. Ain't nobody on this devil platform can ever erase what the Spirit gives me in the wilderness. No way. It's impossible. Okay? That's something that's impossible. Once he gave it to me, he gave it. I got it. You see? So the war is a part of working on the inside of this country. They're trying to bring it down from the inside. And they ain't trying. They're doing an excellent job because the people are just that weak in illness. What do you mean they weak? They so dark and evil. That makes them that weak. They don't see anything in the light. They don't see righteous and just and upright. They see darkness and they love on the things that are wrong. Like I just told you about the 500,000 children. And y'all thought that they was just letting them come over here. No, baby, they wanted the children. And if only you knew what the children represent to them, then your light will come on. But your light ain't gonna come on because you don't know. You don't have no idea what it meant to have 500,000 Mexican babies come over here and vanish. You never thought that you go back to them videos and you won't see the children. You see them when they first come over here, but after that, it was more so men and women. You didn't see them. You didn't see them. You saw when they first came, but after that, that's how many that they brought and transferred, trafficking from Mexico to wherever else in this country. Because this is where this is where they were dropped off. So right then, and I'm going to say this to y'all, and I don't give a rat's behind if you understand it, if you believe it, if you see it, into the Spirit of the Most High, open your eyes to see what's actually making this country as wicked as it is. This is what people don't want to see because they hear. But what they did not understand, when your heart is blind to what's going on, that's because you're in the darkness. You too shall fall with the country, without a doubt. Without a doubt. See, people think you're saying something because you bring in light. Oh, surely it's going to wake somebody. No, 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 no. That's not what the Father's trying to do. He just wants to keep in mind to the darkness that knows that he is all light. That, hey, I still got my ram in the bush. Mine's down there. My light is still down there. You know, and it letting them know who controlled the power. The Father, the Creator. He's still the power of it all. Okay, so the war that they're doing, that plays a role in bringing this country down. See, while y'all looking at it and trying to find it under the biblical standards, which you can, but you ain't looking at it from the inside. You're looking at it from the outside because you in the inside. So you don't want to feel that, oh, no, truly, it can't be about all us. They can't do that to us. Oh, my goodness. If anytime somebody can bring 500,000 children across the border into their country and they disappear, use the food. Use the food. And that means straight up from the floor. Use the food. Okay? So the same thing with the war. I say to you all, go get your tickets. I know they got them on sale. It's a clown show. This war is a clown show. You all have embedded yourself in it like it's a clown show. And that's their whole idea, is to keep you distracted. So you wouldn't know that really the reason for it is still coming to this land here. It's bringing this land down. Okay. Amazing. Amazing. This one guy, I think he has like 3 million subscribers. He was interviewing this other man that was breaking down what are they doing with the housing. And when that, I'm talking about, I just saw this here this evening. When I heard the way he said they taking the houses, I said, but I just heard that about 4 months ago. That same thing, but he's bringing it up again, telling him that's how they gonna break them. See, all the property here in this country, they gonna take it, and and it's so easy how they gonna do it, y'all. It is so easy. All they have to do is raise the inflation and add the taxes to it. And when they finish, their taxes is going to be just as much as the house. They know already what they got it planned. Why? Because they want to take everybody houses and property and business from them. Okay, to use it as collateral to give to those over in other countries that waiting to buy it. You see what I'm saying? So that's their plan, and they're gonna do it. I try to tell you all that's the plan, and the reason why a lot of people gonna get caught up is a lot of people still holding on to their future, and they plans of what am I gonna do in the next 10, 20, 30 years. No, 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 no. When you are of the light, you don't look that far. You look daily. Give me the day, this day, my daily. So I don't want to plan 10 years or 20 years on down the line. Now, if someone wanted to do something like just plan to get in a safe area, I would have suggested people do that. But some people just think they smarter than smart, and they know what they're doing. And I got it. See it from A to Z, and truly not mine. Oh, baby, please. You can have a house paid, but when they finish with inflation and the taxes on that bad boy, and not tell you they raised it up, and then wait a year later and tell you now you have to pay 10 times as much. Oh, please. They doing it all over the United States. And I knew they still was doing that that housing market. What is that? With it foreclosing on these houses? At 1 minute, I think it was like 6 years ago, I thought that had ended, but that thing is booming like crazy now. And they said it never stopped. I said I thought it did, but it's not. It's a part of the plan. So while we are looking at the clown show with the war, that's going to play a role in it too. Because the more, listen to this, y'all, the more they keep putting in your mindset there's a war, the more they can raise up everything in this country to make you not have nothing. Mhm, mhm. That you may not have anything. Mhm. and I'm gonna be honest, they got a pretty good plan, but I know they couldn't do it. They couldn't have been able to master that the way they got it planned. I don't think they could be able to would have been able to do it. I think still it's falling under the will of the Father, how things must go or must be. And when it says peace, peace. So in order for it to say peace, peace, it has to be what? A war, war. So that's what we're going through now. But it's also a clown show, because all the people in this country have no idea. It's to delete, to eliminate the population, which they do an excellent job. These ignorant people running out there, joining the military, running over there, want to do something, want to be in something. They ain't coming home. They ain't coming home. And when they do, it ain't gonna be very many, and they ain't gonna have their head on right. It's not what you were once told war was and is. What they're doing in it now is making things go into the one world system in a way, because everything has to go, y'all. Things are slow. Things need to speed up. The one world system and all of that. That stuff need to speed up. But what I'm also learning is a lot of people in the United States won't take to the fact that the one world system is not really needing America to come into that. Even though America, it's right now working on bringing it down to the debris in this country and giving it to them to put into the one world system, and they're doing it. Because that's why I was telling you, and how they're going to do it is with that AI. They're going to let AI present itself with all the computer system here in this country, hooked up to banks, to stores, to everything in this country that exists. And when one glitch, and it's going to tear it down, and everything go falling. That's how easy it's going to be. But look how they put that one AI in there. That's just like the Matrix. They put it in there. And you know how the one, when they will be looking at it and the things be moving all around trying to get to where their home base is at, when that's what it's about. It's on so that they can tear the system up. That's all it's about. And that's what they're going to do. And the one world system is going to use smart techniques and use digital. Okay. But what America is doing is taking everything from the people right now. They've been doing it, but they're doing it now more so. And the problem with it is, I'm like saying, they can't even see it, Father. They can't even see what's coming, because they're bombarding them with all these other things that's going on in this country, to where you want me to tell you what it does? It muzzles the mouths of the people. The people mouths are muzzled. They're not talking about it. They're not marching or united or coming together to go up against. It's like, I don't care if they want to drink blood and eat kids and children are being missing. I don't care, as long as my child is not. That's the mindset of them. But it's not going to stop them. They've gone too far for so long. It's nothing that's going to stop them from continuing to get even worse than what they have. That's why everything is in open. They figure, hey, we don't care about y'all knowing what we used to do, what we did. Look at Donald Trump. There's no way he should even be a president with all that dirt that they got out. But look at what he's doing. He's running a country. Does that not show you how sick the country is? See, you would have to be sick. The country itself, the people in the country would have to be as sick as he is. You get what I'm saying? You can't just make him sick. You can't make him crazy. You can't make him a monster. You got the first bid, because this is what you have okayed about this country, what he's doing. You see? So you can't just make him the bad guy and the monster, because you first have to make yourself, because you are the people. I ain't talking about voting. Who voted for him? I'm talking about the country itself. This is the sort of chaos y'all like. This is what you want, so you got what you want. This shows you who you are. When you see a man that's leading the country, and as sick as Donald Trump is, and I'm not just talking about physical, I'm talking about darkness and evil and wicked and wrong and all these other things. This man came from this country. He is the product of this country. Great old America. See, this is the country. You can look at him and make it a one-man thing, but when you really sit down and measure that thing, it's this country. It's the mindsets of the Europeans in this country. It's their thoughts, it's their feelings, it's their actions, it's the way they see things, it's the way they want things, it's the way that they wanted things to go. This is the carbon copy. But then they look at him and say, oh, he wrong, he bad, he evil, he this, he doing this, he doing it. But no. He's you him. Because heaven seeing it just like I just said it. He ain't seeing it as if he's bad and you ain't. He said for so long before he was even born, this is not something new that Donald Trump is doing. This country is founded under what Donald Trump is doing today. You see? And I don't see why people can't get that. It's not meant for people to get it. So that's why it has to be the type of tribulation in the perilous times. And I think Revelation 18, how he's going to bring this country down. And like I've been saying for the last 20 years, he's going to bring it down from within. Because the real evil is within, y'all. Even if you hear, you partake in that real evil, you can say what you want. Because if you ain't done nothing today that shows that you are the light, you are just as dark as they are. Okay? And you just hiding and thinking you in between the cracks, saying, I ain't, that's them, that's them. Oh, no. I'm just grateful that I got a Father in the kingdom who created all things, already know the hearts of men and women, no matter what they try to hide under. Okay, so I wanted to talk about that, and the war is a setup to destroy. And yes, it's going to come that time, which is very soon, when it's going to say peace, peace. And when you hear that peace, peace, no, it's going to be on. It's going to get, something's going to take place that's going to knock you out all off your rocker. Okay, so just know that. And another thing, I don't know if y'all saw it. I saw one man. He looks European, but I don't know what he is. But they trying to say that he's one of the witness because of the things he's saying. But to me, he ain't saying enough to represent my Father, to be a witness of nothing. But he's over in Israel, hiding in cages and telling y'all what all is going on. And that everybody better repent and so on and so on. But I look for them to kind of probably be like in his mindset, the way he moves. But you better have something else that's attached to my Father for me to say, yeah, you are the witness. And it's got to come in twos, honey, baby. You ain't coming in one. So he's just a one-man thing. But that's how the world is. They tend to try to get anybody to represent something that they know that they have heard through the prophecy. And you can't just pull up with one witness. Come on now. How stupid does that sound when it's supposed to be two? Okay. And I know the reason why it's going to be two. Okay. So it don't need to be one. So we did to you. He wants Judah. Judah is not going to grip that because they still don't understand how much a Ham, which is a Ham played in the Atlantic slave trade. And a lot of you all have no idea because you don't look into how Yah is going to deal with Persia. He's going to deal with Ethiopian. All of them that he's calling out. Do y'all know right here today, nobody says anything about it? All they keep saying is Esau in America. This is why I say somewhere I know it is connected to his will. Judah is just gone because it's order. You notice that you don't hear them going traveling all over the United States of America. You don't hear them traveling all over the United States of America, teaching, the people anything that spirit and truth. Matter of fact, they don't even travel. They don't go anywhere. They get into their little group, just like gangs. You know how they got the Crips, the Blood. That's just like the men. That's what the men of Judah do. That's it. But as I saw, the Spirit gave me a look at the lion versus the cub, which would turn into an old lion. And I looked at both of my pictures and I said, that makes so much sense. That makes so much sense because the Lion of Judah, okay, he came out of Judah, okay, and Judah was the cub. He was a cub when it come down to the Lion of Judah, and he ended up being the old lion. And if you put Lion King together in a sense of spiritual, you can kind of grip what really it means for the Lion King and the father losing his life. You see, and the cub being left to take over the king, but he was got to take for him to be a king. He had to be the kingdom of something. So you see what I'm saying? So he had to reclaim his throne and his kingship, who he was really over. So it's a lot part in it. That's what the Father called leave the light on. The darkness have left the light on, and I do, and I say to the Father, I'm sorry, and I know that you charged him to leave the light, but you had to have known that the people wasn't going to see the light no way. So the light has been left on. So I want to get into an Esau. I'm trying to really grip Esau because he called Esau Jacob's brother. And the things he said he's going to do in destroying him. He even told Esau, you took all the things from out of that didn't belong to you, that belonged to me. And you traveled them and you took them and put them somewhere. It tells you all of that. And this is why I say when Judah get into teaching these other brothers, they teach them to go way out in the deep and they'll never see dry land. Dry land is spirit and truth. Dry land is the light. So they get so far out there, they don't understand nothing that really lines up in truth. So they just stuck out there. So that's why I say it is a nation of people that's just gone. But another thing, Jacob's trouble is what it means. It means what it says, and it says what it means. There's going to be some trouble. Okay? So you ain't off the hook yet. Okay? And I'm sure in that trouble, lots going to lose their lives. Oh, yes, Isaiah talks about it. Lots are going to lose their lives. Okay? So a lot of us think we in the clear. The Father got your number. He's sitting here, not sitting here, but he's beholding you, not in a way that he don't know you already because he knows your heart. Okay? So we want to talk about the rod. Now, let me tell y'all something that I kind of learned about the rod. The rod. What is a rod in Hebrew? Anyone, if you can tell me what is a rod? What is a rod? R-O-D in Hebrew. How would we categorize a rod? And it's like 4 different things that you can actually, 5 really, say a rod is in Hebrew. I just want to put that out before I tell you what a rod is, if anyone knows what a rod, R-O-D, is in Hebrew. And then we're going to go into it. And I this is something I learned, you guys, that it was last Sabbath. Because I stuff like that, I didn't but it shows a mystery. So in the end days, he said the mystery will be given unto the prophets. Okay. But everything else is over. But the mystery will be given unto the prophets. Why? Because the prophets are the mouthpiece for the Most High Yah. They are the one that's going to speak on Yah's behalf in these end days. Okay. So that's why. Okay. Okay. One says that it's the branch or a stem. Okay, that's good. I got that down. One of them is a branch or a stem. That's true. I got that one down. Mm-hmm. Someone else says a hand for chasing. A hand for chasing the rod. Now, did you find that in Hebrew? Does it mean that in Hebrew? It might. I'm just asking because I end up pulling out like 5 different words for plus rod. Okay, we can use that because we're going to cover that. We're going to cover that. So let's use that because I want you to be able to define what I'm about to put out regarding that the type of rod that's chasing. I'm gonna see if you're gonna be able to answer it. Okay, a chasing is for discipline. That's now, believe it or not, that's my power punch tonight, to see if we could connect that, and maybe could we have had it wrong, or could we have had it right? That's one of the ones that that's where the battle is at tonight. It's right where you don't know it is, where you saying chasing or discipline is the rod for that reason. Okay. And yep, someone says discipline. So this is what this whole message is going to gear to, because that's what something I would have thought too. But as the Father keep showing me, and when he was showing it to me and teaching me how important the rod was, and then he asked me, but you know that the I am that I am, a higher could be whatever it want to be. And it's just that we missed it. We really did, y'all. We really missed it. And that's the help I'm gonna need from you to see if you can tell me, could we have had it wrong? Or could it still be that? But how can we apply it if we had to tell someone? Okay, let's rumble. First one we're gonna go to is Genesis chapter 49. Genesis chapter 49 and verse 10. Now, also, I want to let you know that a rod in Hebrew is a staff. It can be a staff. It can be a tribe. It can be branch. And it can be a scepter. A scepter. Okay? As in Genesis chapter 49 and 10. The scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet, until Shiloh come. And until him shall be gathering the people. Is that right? The gathering of the people be. Now, that's in Genesis 49, y'all. Verse 10. The scepter shall not depart from Judah. You know what the scepter is? It's like a rod. It's like a staff. It said it can be a branch. It can be a tribe. So the scepter it shall not depart from Judah. It shall not depart from Judah. Okay? And it says, nor a lawgiver from between his feet. What does it mean between his feet? A lawgiver from between his feet. I think he just showed y'all something that I don't know if y'all caught it. In Genesis chapter 49 and verse 10, the scepter shall not depart from Judah. Stop. So he's saying something shall not depart from Judah. Now, when you look up scepter, it also is connected to rod, branch, or where's my other one? Branch, tribe, staff. So it mentioned staff as well. So guess what happened? What is he telling us that's not going to depart from him? It's a mystery, y'all. It's going to blow your mind, because it's going to make you wonder, wait a minute. So, and it'll blow your mind at the same time. When it blew my mind, I'm still like, but Father, they have no idea. They have no idea. What is this that you say that's with them? Okay? What is it? Okay? Is it a hand? Look, wait till you hear it. That's what's going to blow your mind. Because you know about him saying he's the I am that I am? It's like he's pulled up, and wait till you hear who I say it is. See, it's something that no one preached or teach about. It's something that no one never knew. No one knew, y'all. I didn't know. But someone says he's leadership, his guidance So would you say Judah's leadership and guidance is present today? Huh? Come on now, talk to me. Moses had the rod in his hand. Yes, that's Moses. And I want you, we're going into that, but we're talking about this rod that can meet it's considered in Hebrew to be a staff, a branch, a tribe, or a scepter. And this is what a scepter. No one still can tell me because you really don't know. That's how I was. I did not know this type of thing that the Father did in the kingdom. Now listen to Genesis 49 and verse 10. The scepter shall not depart from Judah. So what is this that you talking about that ain't going to depart from Judah? Now watch this here. Nor the lawgiver from between his feet. Who is the lawgiver? Who is the lawgiver? Anybody know? The scepter shall not depart from Judah. Are you saying the lawgiver is the Christ? Someone says you, and you know what? I believe from between his feet is Christ. Yes, I really believe that. Okay, but when it says the scepter shall not depart from him, it's gonna blow your mind what that is. You're gonna say, well, why would he do that for them? Why would he want them? It will blow your mind. Now let's go to the next one. And it says, and so when it says between the feet, it has to be Yeshua HaMashiach, because that's what came out. And what I like about that, it's also saying between his feet until Shiloh come. That's Yeshua HaMashiach, until he come to what? And until him shall gather the gathering of the people. So that also let us know that Judah is not going to get up. He's not going to move. He's not going to come up, y'all. He's not. And when you hear me saying something wrong with him, that's why you should be able to come on one accord with me, because Judah should be up by now. You get what I'm trying to say to y'all? Judah should not be in the state of mind that he is in, but he is. He gone. So it matches what Jacob said in Genesis chapter 49, that he was going to be crouched down as a cub to a old lion. That means he's going to be down there for a long time, and he ain't going to get up. Judah is not going to get up. He's going to be crouched down like an old lion. And then it says, who can arouse him? Who can raise him up? Nobody. Until who? Shiloh come to gather the people. So that's, you see what I'm saying? So that means he's going to still be down doing everything. So when I'm sitting here telling y'all that he's cuckoo clock, something wrong with Judah, ain't, it's for real, for real. Y'all might think I'm just talking about something, but I'm not. And I'm not talking about Judah in the light. I'm talking about Judah in the dark. Because Judah in the light can't be crouched down and just sitting still. Why? Because he's in the light. He got the light in him. So it's the Judah in the dark, or the Judah somewhere, because it's to me, they don't have it. They do not have it. And between his feet, you're right, it is a HaMashiach, Yeshua HaMashiach. That is what I would call Shiloh, HaMashiach. I would say HaMashiach. Okay. Yes, but you know what? You got a good point, because we're going to pull up on that too. And that's what I'm going to show you, that how we never knew. We didn't know that. We did. We didn't know that, y'all. So let me go to the next one. When I get to Psalms 110, when I get to Psalms, now we never did figure out what the scepter was in Genesis 49 and verse 10. Shall not depart from Judah, the scepter. Even though we know it's a rod, it's a staff, or it can be a tribe, or it can be a branch. But watch this here. Watch this here. Psalms chapter 110 and verse 2, it says, Yah shall send the rod of thy strength out of Zion. Listen to what it says. Psalms 110, verse 2. Yah shall send the rod of thy strength out of Zion. Rule thy in the midst of the enemies. Who is that? The rod of thy strength. Psalms 110, verse 2. Yah shall send the rod of thy strength out of Zion. Rule thy in the midst of the enemies. Who is that? Yes, you can say that. That's right. That's who it is. I said the Mashiach or the Hamashiach. Okay, so yeah. But you see, he calling it a rod. You see, wait till you finish. You're going to say, well, wait a minute, Deborah, Sister Deborah, I don't know then. I just don't know. Because that's the same thing I said. Father, wait a minute. This is a little bit deep. You see? Hamashiach. That's who that is. Okay, now watch this here. Verse 4. Wait a minute. Or did I take it away from 4? Hold up. Let me see if I can bring that back. I circuit 4. And we're going to see what's that one that says to discipline a child. No, okay, here it is. Let's go back. 110. In Psalms 110, verse 2. Yah shall send the rod of thy strength out of Zion. Okay. Rule thy in the midst of thy enemy. Okay. Verse 3. Thy people shall be willing in the day of thy power. In the beauty of holiness from the wound of the morning. Thou hast the dew of thy youth. Listen to verse 4. Yah has sworn and will not repent. Thou art a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek. Did not Hamashiach come after Melchizedek? You see that? You remember Nebuchadnezzar when he saw he put the Hebrew boys into the fire furnace, and then when it said he looked, and lo, the son of he saw. Didn't we put 3? When I see a 4th one, and he called him the son of Yah, not the son of man. Melchizedek has no connection to the son of man. So the only one he had to been talking about was the son of Yah. That's going back to let you all understand that Hamashiach is the son of Yah. Yeshua is the son of man. Melchizedek wasn't saying it was Yeshua in the fire furnace. He was saying it was the son of Yah, Hamashiach, the Mashiach, in the fire furnace. You see? So here, I love it because it says in verse 4, Psalms 110 and verse 4, Yah has sworn and will not repent. Thou art a priest forever, but you're after the order of Melchizedek. Showing you that Melchizedek, after Melchizedek, he was going to be Hamashiach. He's coming and he's going to be with Yeshua, and he was going to be the Hamashiach. You see? People don't get it because when they came to their little understanding that they were the people, they went overboard and they took it all the way deep somewhere else, and they never kept it where it was at. So as we're going to go on, people, they did not know you cannot turn around and take on Melchizedek as if that you just making a king or a man something out of Melchizedek. No, the Hamashiach, the Mashiach was, is somewhere in the line. I just can't grip it. He's such a big part of even the Lamb. I mean, he's such a big part in everything from the beginning. That's okay. You know, when y'all was talking about in Genesis chapter 1, let me show you how long he exists. In Genesis chapter 1, where he said, let us, that's who he was talking to. The Mashiach. Why are you saying that, Deborah? It's because he's talking to his power. So he was talking to his power, which is himself. And he made him an only begotten son out of himself. And he gave him all his power to come down with Yeshua in the mission. So he wasn't, I don't know if I can say he wasn't Mashiach yet. It was his power. And with his power, with the Father power, he created his only begotten son, his beloved, that he only begotten of himself. And he gave him power, word, and spirit to come down with the Son of Man. That's how he came. That's how Yah became Emmanuel with us, through the Son of Yah. That's why he tried to get us to understand with the light on, there's a Son of Man and then there's a Son of Yah. Put them together and let them work the thing. But see, nobody wanted to do that. They want to battle. Oh, well, no, he is the Father. And Yeshua kept saying, I am not the Father. Me and the Father, we in this together. We are one. But the Father sent me. The Father, the works I do is of the Father. The things I do is of the Father. He still taught an excellent message to me. If he didn't to nobody else. He's shown me who was who and what was what. You see, to where I'm not in this world today, walking around with my head hanging to the left and to the right, trying to figure things out. No, the Holy Spirit in me continue to teach me, because why? I accepted what Yeshua was saying. I sat and heard him, and it was sad. The way I hear him is not the way you hear him, but the way I hear him is sad, because he was pleading with us, telling us that he was the Son of Yah, not the Son. He was the Son of Man, and that he come down with the Son of Yah, which was the Father, to work the mission for the Father. That's how Yah came down as Emmanuel, meaning Yah with us. He came down as the Son of Yah. The Son of Yah is no such thing as the only begotten. We know the Creator got more than only. We know that it's more begotten. He got more than that. But this one here, he don't. That he was speaking of, he created his only begotten of himself. That was the first time and the last time that he made an image and that took on his word, his power, and his spirit to come down in fullness. And you notice what he said? He gave him all power. You see? So this, because he knew if he's coming down here and he's going to walk with the Son of Man, they're going to need everything they can get. You see? So therefore, that's how Yeshua was able to do the things that he did, and then turned around and warned us that guess what? Now I must go, because the same thing he gave me, he's going to give it to you all. And that's what he did. He sent his Holy Spirit that had power. It didn't have all the power. It has power. It had the word, and it has the Spirit. He sent it back to us, what he had gave Yeshua. But Yeshua had to go up for him to bring this back down to all of us. You see? So this here in Psalms chapter 110 and verse 4, it says, Yah has sworn and will not repent. That means, hey, it's going to be what I say, and say what I say it's going to be. It ain't going no way the way the flesh of man is really going to say it or teach it, but it's going to go his way and his way only. And he's saying here, thou art a priest after, he said, forever. You're a priest forever, after the order of Melchizedek. He let him know that the Mashiach is coming after Melchizedek. You see, as a priest, but he is the Mashiach, Hamashiach. He is Melchizedek, and they won't even give him that because they don't know. They don't know. They didn't know that was Hamashiach as well in the fire furnace with the Hebrew boys. That's why I'm finna show y'all what the rod is. Somebody said it earlier. Christ, Hamashiach. You see, that's who the rod is. Okay. Now, when you get to Psalms 23 and verse 4, watch this here, y'all. Psalms 23 and verse 4. This is something you quote over and over and over. And it's a prayer that David said, and I said too all the time. In Psalms 23 and verse 4, listen to what it says. Ye though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Listen to this, y'all. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. You see that? Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. You see? You see that rod and that staff? See, what happened is we don't understand that there's a lot of power and anointed in that rod. And we're not seeing it for really what it was and what it is, because we just looking at a rod off the ground. That's why we're gonna bump on to when he said a form of discipline. We're gonna get into that. So in Psalms 23 verse 4, it says, Ye though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. Fear no evil. Why? For thou art with me. How are you with me, Father? David is saying this. How are you? Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. This is David telling them. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You see? Yep, it can. It can be the Holy Spirit too. But we're gonna see at the end what are we gonna come up with. What could it possibly be? Rod and thy staff, which is what the rod is, but it's like a extra portion when he says staff. Now, when I get to Job, I get into the book of Job in chapter 21 and verse 89. So I get into Job chapter 21 and verse 89, and it says, Thy seed is established in their sight with them, and thy offspring before their eyes. Verse 9, their houses are safe from fear, neither is the rod of Yah upon them. What do you think about that rod? What do you think about that rod? Verse 9. Let's go back to Job 21 and verse 8 and 9. And what it's talking about is people in the flesh, people who got everything so together in the flesh to where they can have everything together in their house, among their families, in their own eyes. But then in verse 9 tells you they missing this. So here, Job 21, verse 8 and 9, their seed is established in their sight with them, and their offspring before their eyes. That means they please with what they seed have established, okay, and their offspring have become. But listen to verse 9. Hear verse 9. Their houses are safe from fear. Why? Because people prepare their house many ways with gates and fence and alarm system, just to where they can make it safe for them, so they don't fear, because they figure they got enough in their houses, even guns, that they don't fear. Now watch this here. Neither is the rod of Yah upon them. Now what do you say about that? Now what rod is that? They don't have the spirit of Yah with them. Exactly. But he's calling it the rod. See, we on that rod, and we trying to figure out, well, what is that rod and what it really stands for. So we're going to end up probably having to say that it is the spirit of Yah. Okay. Yeah, that's very bad for them. Oh yes, very, very bad. But people are stuff like that. People don't care about that. They have no idea. Now I'm going back now, y'all. Now watch this. Could we have had misunderstood this right here? Let's go to Proverbs 13. Watch this here. Now you all have seen. No. We're gonna go to that last, because I don't want y'all to get all excited about. We're gonna go to Exodus. Now watch this here, y'all. Now watch how this sounds. When I read this, I said, Father, we've been lost a long time. We just cuckoo clocks. Exodus chapter 4. Listen to this now. In Exodus chapter 4 and verse 17. Exodus chapter 4 and verse 17. Now tell me, listen to this. Exodus chapter 4 and verse 17. And it reads, and thou shalt take this rod in thy hand, wherewith thou shalt do signs. You see? And thou shalt take this rod in thy hand, wherewith thou shalt do signs. What's with that one? What kind of rod is that? What kind of rod is that? Here we go again. Exodus. This is Exodus chapter 4 and verse 2. Exodus chapter 4 and verse 2. And Yah said unto him, what is that in thy hand? And he said, a rod. You see that? You hear in Exodus chapter 4, verse 2, where he asks, what was that he had? Was it Moses, I believe, what he had in his hand? Or it was Aaron. I think it was Moses or Aaron. He asked him, what was that you had in your hand? In Exodus chapter 4 and verse 2. And he said, a rod. And then in Exodus chapter 4 and verse 17, he said, and thou shalt take this rod in thy hand, wherewith thou shalt do signs. You see that? Thou shalt do signs. Now watch this here. When we get to Exodus chapter 4 and verse 20, and Moses took his wife and his sons and set them upon an ass, and he returned to the land of Egypt. And Moses took the rod of Yah. Woo! How did it switch from being Aaron's rod in his hand in Exodus chapter 4 and verse 2 and Exodus chapter 4 and verse 17? But when you get to Exodus chapter 4 and verse 20, it says, and Moses took his wife and his sons and set them upon an ass, and he returned to the land of Egypt. Now watch this here. And Moses took the rod of Yah in his hand. Now the rod becomes who? The rod of Yah. Why? This rod is not just a normal rod, y'all. See, this is the sort of stuff when you first join a church. I think these are the things that the pastors should have taught, but it's just too late. You see, because what I'm saying to y'all, it's like they just stripped the Most High from everything. That people, when they go into, they study and they really want to learn, they can't, because everything been taken from them that represent his glory, his power, his authority, his creation. Just took everything. Okay. That's what I came up with earlier when he said to me, you remember how you talk about I can be whatever I want to be. Okay. Because I was asking him about that rod, is that like I am that I am? But as we go on, you're going to learn some things. Okay. Somebody said, Mashiach really was set apart. Really was set apart. Oh, yes, very much. Why? I mean, I guess in a sense, that's like also sanctified in a sense, and still yet holy, just set apart, you know what I'm saying? Away from, a lot of things that they really put him way to the curve. But he really wasn't to the curve. But in their mental state of mind, they just put him anywhere, because right here it's actually showing you how the rod that Aaron or Moses normally carry, it was just a stick and it was nothing. But when they were done, the rod had power. Not only that, Moses called the rod of Yah. Why? Because Yah had placed somewhere along the line the rod represent power. You see, and all the time Moses and them had it, it didn't represent power. But when Yah finished with it, it did. You see? So then we go to Exodus chapter 9. In Exodus chapter 9 and verse 22. Exodus chapter 9 and verse 22. And we're going to ask this question. I'm waiting to ask it because I want somebody to answer it if they can. Exodus chapter 9, verse 22, and it reads, and Yah said unto Moses, stretch forth thy hand toward heaven, that there may be hail in all the land of Egypt upon man, and upon beasts, and upon the earths in the fields throughout the land of Egypt. Now watch this here. What did Moses have in his hand? Watch this. Verse 23, and Moses stretched forth his rod toward the heavens, and Yah sent thunder, hail, fire, ran along upon the ground, and Yah rained hail upon the land of Egypt. But notice the rod. The rod was set forth toward the heaven. He raised the rod up, and Yah brought upon all kind of thunder and fire and rain, and hell, all due to the using the rod to, you see, do y'all understand what I'm saying? How the rod is playing such a heavy role. And it's not just in one verse or two verse, it's throughout the whole book. And when it starts with the rod, the spectacle that's shall not depart Judah, that's actually telling y'all the power won't depart Judah. You see what I'm saying? That same rod, it's not going to, somewhere he got it detached to Judah. You see what I'm saying? That's what was going on in Genesis chapter 49. That I was saying that I didn't know that, the rod is detached to Judah like that. Okay? And he's saying it's not going to depart. You see? Nor will the lawgiver, which is Hamashiach, between his feet, meaning that, that's where the lion, in the sense of Judah, is saying that it come from that tribe of Judah. So it's and then when I get to Isaiah chapter 11, I'm trying to pinpoint to show y'all where somewhere along the line in the days when we were young and we were in church and we was different places in our understanding and even in reading, how is it that we miss so much about the Most High? This is another thing when you think about it. This is why a lot of people can't find their way home, because so much about him was missing, was not taught. Isaiah chapter 11 verse 4. Isaiah chapter 11 verse 4. But with righteousness shall he judge the poor, and reprove with iniquity for the meek of the earth. And he shall smite the earth with the rod of his mouth, and with the breath of his lips shall he slay the wicked. Do you see that? Do y'all see that? That's what I'm thinking too. Exactly. The power, the Hamashiach, Christ. Oh, yeah. And that's why he was asking me about, don't forget that I am. I can be whatever, be whatever. I'm like, wait a minute. If this sort of stuff exists before Hamashiach even came on the scene, somewhere along the line, it was already existing. I don't know if y'all get it, because David spoke of it. He was telling him who he was with him. You see? And then he talked about, my Lord said to the Lord said to my Lord. You get what I'm saying? So who do you think it was? It was showing you the capital L-O-R-D, and then it showed you the lowercase L-O-R-D. We know that those are not the words they use, but it shows you that David was able to recognize there's two entities, y'all. And this have nothing to do with the Son of Man. So it has to be the Hamashiach, the Mashiach. It has to be. Okay. So in Isaiah chapter 11, verse 4, it says, but with the righteousness shall he judge the poor, and reprove with iniquity for the meek of the earth. Now watch this here. And he shall smite the earth with the rod of his mouth. And with the breath of his lips. You see that? This is what he's going to do at the end. But look what it says, with the rod of his mouth. Why isn't it we miss stuff like that? And I know a lot of us say it ain't important. Oh, yes, it is. This is how, and this is another thing that when I say the light, when you remember, he said you are the light that's set up on a hill because you got the truth. You see, your light is bright because you can tell somebody something. But people have heard darkness all this time. They don't know what it means to even, or what it would be like to take in the light. Okay. So even here it talks about it. Now, when I get to Revelation, In Revelation chapter 2 and verse 27, Shevers. It says, Revelation chapter 2 and verse 27, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron. There go that rod again. And he shall rule them with a rod of iron. As the vessels of a potter shall they be broken to shivers, even as I received of my Father. Even as I received of my Father. Revelation chapter 2, verse 27. And he shall rule them with a rod of iron. See, it's something about that rod that we missed. It's just something about the rod that's, and I haven't gotten deep in it, but it's just something about that rod that we missed. And another thing that I thought was strange is in Hebrew chapter 9, and then we're going to go back to Proverbs, and we're going to deal with the rod of discipline, a rod of chastising, a rod of correction, and see how that could fit in. Maybe somebody can give Sister Deborah some idea, because I was trying to make it make sense. And I'm going to give you what I'm wondering. I don't even know if, I ain't going to say I know it. I ain't going to say I know it, but it's just something strange about it. Could we misunderstood it? Okay, watch this here. Hebrew chapter 9 and verse 3 and 4. And after the second veil, the tabernacle, which is called the holy, which is the holiest of all. Verse 4, which had a golden censer, and the ark of the covenant overlaid round about the gold, wherein was the golden pot that had Mammon and Aaron's. Remember Aaron's rod. Do you see that? Aaron's rod that But Aaron's rod is in there, and the tables of the covenant. Aaron's rod was in there. You know that rod they used with the plagues for toward what is his name? Pharaoh. Somewhere it said, which had the golden censer and the ark of the covenant overlaid round about with gold, wherein was the golden pot that had Mammon and Aaron's rod that budded though, and the tables of the covenant. Who's holding to that rod? Why would that be still connected with the covenant, the ark of the covenant? You see what I'm saying, y'all? That rod is still being held even to this very day. So it leads me to understand that we might have misunderstood or might not been taught really what the rod really represents. Even when he was telling Mashiach about the priests after the order of Melchizedek, he spoke of the rod then. The rod that's Judah should always have. It won't leave Judah. See, it's just strange. It's just strange to me. Something about it holds even a heavier mystery. But let me ask y'all a question. Now watch this. Who can sit and help Sister Deborah here? Right here, we're going to go to Proverbs. Let's start with Proverbs 13. Let me see who's going to be able to, and see how this fit into the rod in which, and could it be a different rod? It could be, but I'm going to need your help on this because I didn't think too much in it, but let's go to Proverbs 13. And we talked about this earlier. Proverbs 13 and verse 24. Now we're going to talk about the rod and I'm wanting to know, do you think it's the same rod or what? The rod, Proverbs 13 and verse 24 and 25. Now watch this here. He that spareth his rod hated his son, but he that loveth him chasten him betimes. Verse 25. The righteous eat it to the satisfying of his spirit, but the belly of the wicked shall want. So we just really lean into verse 24. He that spareth his rod hateth his son, but he that loveth him chasten him betimes. So what do you think about that rod? What do you think about that rod alone? What do you think about that rod? Let me give you another one. Proverbs 22. How can we put those rods together, or should they be put together? Or could it have been another word that's in Hebrew that represent rod that fits that category? Okay. Because I think someone says chasing or something. You said it's both the same and different. Okay. So here we go. It's both. Okay. So in Proverbs 22 and verse 15, what do you think about this? Foolishness is bound in the heart of a child, but the rod correction shall drive it far from him. We're speaking of the rod in a different way, which it can also mean something different than the male Mashiach, or the power, or the Holy Spirit, and all those good things. But could this mean, when you look up a rod in Hebrew, it has many of meanings. I only poured out 4 or 5, but it has other meanings. And I don't know if anyone can pull it up, but in Proverbs 22 and verse 15, it says, foolishness is bound in the heart of a child, but the rod of correction shall drive it far from him. What do you think about that? Would you say the Father used a rod to correct us? That's true. That is true. But would you say the rod of correction, this rod that we're speaking of, in a way of a man that doesn't use the rod hates his child, or in chapter Proverbs 22 and verse 15, the foolishness is bound in the heart of a child, but the rod of correction shall driven it far from him. So it really can't be like the rod of that they used. Just think about that though, the rod that Moses and them used to bring those plagues down on Pharaoh, or all the other rods that we read about. You see, it's how would we apply Proverbs 23 and verse 12? It says, Proverbs 23 and verse 12, it says, apply thy heart unto instructions, and thy ear to the word of knowledge. Withhold not correction from the child, for if thou beateth him with the rod, he shall not die. Okay, what about that one? Okay, good point. That's what I'm thinking too. The rod could be like truth. Okay. And when you don't give the children the truth, you hate your child. Just bringing a different level of. But then what about this one? Here go this one here. Proverbs 23 and verse 12. Now let's verse 13. Withhold not correction from the child, for if thou beateth him with the rod, he shall not die. What about that one? A form of discipline, someone says. Okay. The form of discipline. What about that one? Can anyone make sense out of that rod? You think that rod that's in Proverbs 23 and verse 14, thou shalt beat him with the rod and shall deliver his spirit from hell. That's a heavy one, ain't it? The rod for the flesh and the rod for the spirit. Okay. Which one? From that one there? Okay. The rod. Okay. For thou shall beat him with the rod and shall deliver his spirit from hell. Okay. So you said the rod of the flesh and the rod of the spirit. Okay. Someone says truthful. Okay. So that's the one. And the last one was Proverbs 29 and verse 15. Proverbs 29 and verse 15. The rod of reproof give wisdom, but a child left to himself bringeth his mother a shame. What about that one? We're still talking about the rod, y'all. The rod of proof gives wisdom, but a child left to himself bringeth his mother to shame. Could we actually say, how can we sum this up? Would you say that the rod that we spoke of in Exodus that Moses then was dealing with or using that had power, okay, and that which is in Genesis and Psalms and Job that spoke of the rod of Yah, okay? In Job, it speaks of their houses were safe from fear, neither is the rod of Yah upon them. The rod of Yah upon them. Do you see where I'm coming from as far as understanding the rod? And listen with this one here. Revelation chapter 2 and verse 27, it says, he shall rule them with a rod iron. Okay? A rod of iron. So could there be many definitions in Hebrew for rod that can fit each and every last one of those categories? What do you all think? And this rod that they're speaking of toward the child, do you think it's toward the flesh to benefit for them in the spirit? That's a question. Do you think, okay, yes, there could be, okay. So do you think that the rod in Hebrew and the rod that they're saying to bring as far as to your children, Can we actually separate them? One is for when he's speaking in Proverbs about the children. Is he speaking of a rod that you bring to their flesh, that it will help their spirit to go in the right direction? Yes. So, what do you think about people today saying that them getting they don't know how to separate the proper discipline, because they would take it and say, when my parents beat me. Right now, a lot of people have no idea that when they're saying that their parents is doing all kind of things to them, a lot of things parents were doing back then, because I believe that, I think the mother was trying to keep a family together, and the father was one also in and out, in and out, and it was just no one really focusing on bringing the children up in the household. They was really living their own little lives, their own little separate lives. And when they was going through emotional things and things that were not panning out, I think a lot of the children were abused and misused. But right here today, it is swarming all over the place of how the children are so upset with the mothers of today, and what the mothers have done as far as bringing them up. But never will they be angry with the father, the one that the father in the kingdom is going to measure them from. Just like he did with us. What did he do? He said, because of your what? Your forefathers. This is where you at. They won't teach that. They won't preach that to the level of spirit and truth. You see what I'm saying? That's why I really believe that people would never come to telling the truth. Because if so, they would have to step in the realm of spirit and truth and tell it the way it really is. Because when you think of it, no one would really tell. It would be like, and that's something I see today too. You will never hear a man on YouTube, Rumble, Instagram, Patriot. You will never hear them talk about that the sins of the father. He said he would visit the iniquity of the father in the children. He knows where it's at. Why people think that he's so dumb? He don't know nothing. He created everything. And throughout that time, he got it in there more than probably 10 times. Why would it be said that for it not to be right one time? Let's say all of them was wrong. The 10 times that it's listed, that he would visit the iniquity of the fathers through the children. Let's take if it's in there 10 times, we take all 9 and throw it away and just keep the 1. He still mean what he says, and he says what he mean, but they won't teach that either. They will not teach nothing over that pulpit that lines up with spirit and truth. Now, just imagine had we knew that the father was feminine and masculine. We first have to understand, where did that come from? What made a male and a female? What made a man and a woman? You see, it had to been something that make up a male and a female. It has to been something that make up a man and a woman. So it has to been something from the kingdom, not from the earth. You get what I'm saying? If he was creating it from his level of the kingdom, he had to have created it from himself, his own image. And if they would have taught that, it would have made you all don't understand. I know y'all really don't understand how stealing that woman's identity messed it up for the men, because they would have had more help today. Just think, it would have been what? Equal. You see what I'm saying? They didn't settle for it. They didn't want it to be that. They wanted it all for themselves, like Satan. You know how he wanted the throne? He didn't want to be the shining star. He didn't want to be the one that sings. He wanted the power and the control. He wanted it all. And that's how it was when it was created. Man wanted it all. And this is what you see. Now, if you ever, which you don't, I don't want now wanting you to do this. We're never going to do this. Go get to the level where you do your deep study and you realize that everything that you can list, if you took a piece of paper and you list all evil and wicked, guess what? When you done, it's going to have 98% listed under men. So this leads you to understand this didn't start today, y'all. This is because of what took place yesterday. Just imagine in a household, what did they tell you now? It takes two to make it, right? It always took that. What do you mean, Sister Deborah? Because that's why he put feminine and masculine. To put those two there, he knew one gonna have this and the other one gonna have this. You're gonna have a whole. But both of y'all bringing different things to the table. Both of y'all have different creative position, even in your bodies, to produce. Woman, she could look at him and she could say, well, okay, you are the seeds. You carrying all the seeds. Okay, I'm just here to birth all that you carry. You get what I'm saying? They don't, today, they can't even think like that. Women say, this is my baby. The system tell them that the woman, this belong to you. The man don't care, I don't care. But the father held him what? He knew when he said, train him up in the way that he should go. He knew who he was charging with that message, the one that he had given the seed to. Because what would it look like for him to tell a woman to train up a child in the way that he should go when the way of the father is in the child? You didn't make any sense, but that's what happened. That's how you have the shoes on the wrong foot, and or the way society and the world started off doing wrong. You can see the sin and how everybody did everything wrong. Because if all the sperms are in the man's womb, wouldn't he tell him, because they're coming out of him, and most likely the ways of the child is resting him, just as it said in there 10 times. You throw 9 of it away, you can still see it one time. It's still what if he's saying it. If he have to say it that many times, somewhere at least one time should have mean for something, should have been something worth teaching. But it just so much that it just don't even be worth talking about it anymore, because it's just to the point where it's over, and it's nothing that's going to switch and get back to the way it was or the way it should have been. I went over again the dry bones, and I was saying that, Father, you said twice in Ezekiel, and I think it's twice in Ezekiel, where he's talking about how he's going to put over in Israel, when he get us to Mount Zion, how he's going to have a multitude of men. That means a lot of them. He's going to place them over in Mount Zion. And it has to do with the dry bones. And a lot of people thinking it's the people who's living today. Do y'all know that? A lot of them think the dry bones are all of Israel getting up and getting ready in this day and time. Baby, that's not the dry bones. The dry bones is exactly what he told him to prophesy to. You know, it was warning us, is when you the light, you can understand him talking to the dry bone. Wasn't him talking, it was the Father talking, causing the bones to come into existence. But you have to be able to hear the Spirit from the inside of you explain that to you, and that these were armies. Just imagine, okay, let's say for instance David went out for army. You know how many of the armies of David that lost their lives? Do you know how many times Israel lost their lives? All the time. So these dry bones is scattered, and they so dry because it means it's been there for a long time. And he's going to bring them together, and he's going to cause the flesh and bones to find their pieces. So what I'm trying to say to you, this is the work. We need to stop lying on the Creator and give him the glory that's due him, because him telling Ezekiel that, and once he tell Ezekiel that, you got to hear him doing it. He speak it to Ezekiel, but he doing it. And what is the purpose? He's not going to restore your bones and your give you muscles and flesh on your bones when he gets you to Mount Zion. He didn't say that. These are the armies that he's going to build up to bring over there after he get Israel and Judah to Mount Zion. He's going to have a multitude of men, and it tells you that. But you just can't read it and really get it. You know, you have to have something in you to kind of lead you to the way of understanding what it's actually saying, and that's the biblical book itself. You know, people call the Bible. I call it a study guide. If he can trust you into just reading it, he'll pull up. That's what tarrying mean. Just let me just see, because you want to know. I pull up on you, and I teach you. But it's a feeling I think we also have within us that he gave us, that's detached to the light, that causes us to want to know, you know. And to me, I had you guys, I had a day today. I had a day, and I was just, hey, I was talking to the Most High Yah like it was just me and him, and I began to just tell him how I felt openly, you know, about how being the one really is a price to pay. And even though 99.9 have no idea of that, but that don't stop you from being about what you are called down here to be, is the one. While people are detaching themselves to be the one, and they're nowhere near it. See, until you able to step in the rim, and you like today, like I was speaking to him today, telling him that, you know, you created everything, you designed everything, you made life, you made sight, ears, you did it all, and here it is. It's like it's a area you're at, and you wonder why is it you just can't come out of it. And I don't think I don't look at it in the spirit realm. I do, because it's just because this is me, y'all. I know he owned it all. I think that's my issue. That's my issue. I really believe the Father owned it all, without no doubt. So today my conversation was with him, that why is it that the stumbling is always there to keep one at a level, no matter what, you still stay at that level. It's like you're at a level that you can't even get up and say, okay, let me brush myself off, or let me kind of get this. It's like a level where it's like you there, and you there, and you ain't going no further than the level itself. And I don't care what come along, you just at that level, you know. And I asked him about how is it that you stay at a level on this earth, and it's almost like he was saying that that's what sets you apart from the dark and make you the light, is to be in that level in which I was crying out to him about. He said that's why you there in that level. It's a set apart level, okay, to separate you from darkness. Because if I were to really open up those windows for you to be able to step out of that, there's so much darkness that will be right at the door waiting for you. You know, it's like you remember Yeshua told Peter, Satan want to sniff you out. You know, if it's almost like if he can get a chance, he would really want to sniff you out, and that's what the Father was kind of explaining to me. And even though he explaining it to me, it's not the first time. I get like this here every probably 7 to 8 months. I get like this, trying. But Father, come on now, come on, come on now, you know. But he always bring me to the level of knowing where you at is where you need to be, you know. And you're not up and you're not down, but you need to be right where I have you, in doing and being about what I called you to be about. So but it gets kind of, how would I say, cloudy at times, but that comforter is truly a comforter. It'll come and comfort you, because what happened is, watch this. When I finished going down and finding out all the bad news with the transportation I had purchased, I then went down to it's called Goodwill headquarters downtown. And I said, I've been saying for the last 2 months I was going to do this. And I said, I'm going in there. Listen to this, y'all. I said, I'm going up in there. I'm going to sit down and I'm going to talk to somebody because I need them to rehire my son. I went in there, and the lady said, the human resource lady, she's in there at a meeting, but she's going to be a while. I said, that's okay. I'm gonna sit right here, because I wasn't feeling. I was more so battling the ideal anyway of how things turned out, and the questions that I put before the Most High Yah. Why? And then He assured me that it's okay. It's not the end. It's not the beginning, but you okay. Okay, so I left there to go to this headquarters at Goodwill so they could see if they would hire my son back onto his job, because he lost his job there. And another lady came out. First, a man came out. He said, ma'am, have you been helped? I said, yes, I'm just sitting here waiting for the human resource lady. He said, oh, okay. Another lady came out. She said, ma'am, have you been helped? I said, no, I'm just waiting for the human resource lady. She said, she's at a meeting. She's going to be a while. I said, oh, she said, well, maybe can I help you? I said, yes. I come down here to see if I can talk with someone regarding hiring my son back with the company. Now, I think he left like with something like $21 and something an hour. So I know they ain't gonna give him that much back, but that's still fine. So I said to him, I say, and I'm getting old. And I told him, I said, I'm getting old and I can't be doing this. I say, I'm so used to, doing things this way, and I'm tired, you know. And she say, here, have you put his application in? She said, I'm going to go and look him up in the files. And she saw him in there for 10 years. And she say, uh, yes, he's in there. She said, but he needs to fill out another application. And then she said, here's the other human resource director. You're going to call her, and then she's going to, now listen to this, y'all. She said, you put in his application, you called her, and then let her know that the application was in. So you know what I did? I got home, I sat down, I just took a sit down for a minute, and I thought about it, and I said, you know what, let me get on here and do the application. I did the application, then I put him near closer to where he stays, where I know he can get to. Um, and when I done that, I called the number she gave me, and the lady didn't answer. And I left word with her that I was putting in Raymond Spurgeon application. And did y'all know, before 4 o'clock this evening, they rehired him? You see, this is how the Father works. Even though I might be hurt in one situation, He would always let me know that He's there. Because this is a heavy load for me. Because my son is the oldest son. When he had his head injury, he's disabled, and he has a long short-term memory. He can do everything, but he has a long short-term memory. So when that lady called and told him he go down there for his interview, which they're gonna hire him anyway. And she said that when he finishes his interview, she'll swing all the information to the email so I can fill out his information. You see what I'm saying? So it just felt good, knowing that the Father might. It ain't no might. He always there to make sure that what you need is He's there to help you with. In spite, too many people can't do that. But that's something that also he always allowed me to do when I get in this situation and I need to really communicate with people. The Father always step in because I be too heavy loaded, you know. And it worked out really good, even though the morning with the car turned out bad. But you see how he still, yet and all, made something good out of that this day. This is a lot of things is good out of this day, and I'm just grateful to be able to have him living in me. I put it like that, and for him to be so excellent, and he's so wonderful, he's so great, he's so perfect, he's so all-knowing, he's so kind, and he's so powerful, and he just all that and some. And I just appreciate him just showing this flesh of who I am, living in my spirit, but showing me that he still rules. You know what I'm saying? He still has the first and the last, because that's exactly what it showed at the job. Hey, go in there and just talk to him. You've been holding back and doing it. Go on in there and do it. And that's what I got up this morning saying, okay, I need to do what I need to do. And in spite of it, I was disappointed on one end, but then I was happy on another end that balanced it out for me today. So, anybody in the live chat, did you have anything to add to? Yes, it's in the way that they okay. No, you're right. What you say in ways that people wouldn't even expect. That is so true. And I do. I'm just so grateful, that he's who he is. And I know a lot of people don't think that the Most High is all that and some, but that's on y'all. You can think what you want. Um, and I myself, Sister Deborah, I know that even tribulation is before us as a people, as a country, as a people, as the elects, regardless. But and a lot of you all don't understand that's what you're going to need to get by. It ain't going to be everything everybody telling you. And I myself, I thought about how they're going to tamper with people, property, business, and all of that, homes and everything. That's why I thought that it was best to get a little land, you see, because that little land out far out in the in the woods and so on, they're not going to come after that sort of stuff. You get what I'm saying? They might, but that will be the least of them, because they want all the houses that's already built, the business. They want full control over all of that. But the land is something that I think I spoke about it about 5 years ago. I was really on it, about getting some small piece of land and living out in it. So when you look back at it now, that's probably would be the best bet. Um, Even now is to get away from all the multitude of people, and the way they're going to be reacting after all this stuff that they're setting up after this war, being all the chaos that's coming after it, after they that AI drop. It's y'all, like I told y'all, it's something shifting. It really is. I can't help but say that. It really is. And like with me, I'm still looking into it. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm still looking into it, because I think just having that land and being out in land, out away from where they're actually planning on. See, a lot of people don't believe it, and that's what it's going to take. It's going to take tribulation to come in to show people it ain't no play. You want to play? I'm gonna give you something to play. I'm gonna show you what play is, because when they start doing all these things, and this is what I said to the Father also today. If there was a way that I could have been out and away from everything, I could have been already having the mind to not want. I didn't have to have a phone. I didn't have to have electric. I didn't have to have none of. Would have been good, yes, but just to have that peace of mind that no matter what they do, will it affect you? Yes, but you will be out away from everything. You know what I'm saying? And I myself, I still would say that to individuals that's out there. Don't waste all of your energy and your time and investing in where you at and what you got and adding on and constantly adding on and getting, because I believe that small shift that's coming, I believe that it's coming for a reason, uh, uh, and a purpose. Um, there has to be a shift because people, no one is moving, no one is everybody just, it's like everybody is stuck in this darkness and they loving it. They don't see nothing wrong that's going on. They don't see no issues that's taking place. They don't see them raising their food, their gas. And they said March, May, they're gonna turn the gas into, they're gonna put some type of chemical in it. And all they're gonna do is take your cars. They know they're gonna do that. But look at the people. They're excited about it. They put chemicals in your gas to put in your car from May. I think it's supposed to be the 1st of May to the almost the end of May. And the people don't march. They don't say no. They don't do anything. You see, this is why I know that the darkness is going to win over this country, because it's the way that these people here in it. But it's, if they are darkness, I guess that's about right. I believe that if they are darkness, that's about right. So it's going to have to show really what this country has been consist of, because the denier is that everything is bad outside of this country. Everything is evil and wicked outside of this country, not knowing that on the land from the kingdom, from the throne, this is the main one that's wicked and evil. Okay? This is the main one that's wicked and evil. This land here. And you see what I'm saying? This is the main one. And when we show you a little something, look at how, I don't know where the land is at, Mount Zion is going to be, and I'm not going to say it like I do, but if you ever think about how he's going back into that area, so that land can't be as worse as this land. You get what I'm saying? That's why I tell y'all, something got to do with the synagogue of Satan here. Satan, this got to be his seat. But it also says that his seat is there. You see, and surely his seat can't be Yah's seat. Ooh-wee. So I believe that the country, the worst country is this one. And I'm going to tell you one thing. We're going to leave off of here tonight. Don't ever think that because someone says this is the worstest country, this is it. No, no, no. This country been the worstest. And it's not the worstest as you see the worst. It's the worst as the kingdom in the heavens have seen it to be. So that means he sees it all, knows it all. You can make this country whatever you want to make it. You can sit around and tell people it's all that and that and this and it's good and it's just ain't nothing wrong with it. I'm here and it don't mean nothing. And y'all don't give a rat's behind cause you here. Watch you go down with it. Because the hearts of people here in these countries is like unto the country itself. And that's why I don't see why people don't get that. People do not get it. This country didn't become this wicked and evil country on its own. How can a country just come out of nowhere and no ain't got no connection to people making it what it is? It's not the land and the country. It's the people that's wicked and evil in darkness, like no other country. It's the people. That's why they're not moved by what Donald Trump does. They're not moved by what the elites has done and doing. They're not moved by how these people are organ traffickers and sex traffickers. They're not even moved by all this killing in this country. So how are we worried about Iran bombing? How could you see the mental state of mind the country is in? You see how dark the country's in? How could we be worried about any war when there's a war within? There's a racial war within. There is a level of hate and evil within the country. But we worried about Iran. How could that be? How could you be worried about something on the outside when the greatest evil and wicked is on the inside? That's how it's coming down. And that's why he's going to allow them. I believe the one world system is not in this country. I believe that the one world system would have to be over in the Middle East somewhere, or over there in closer to Israel, over in that area, where the one world government is going to be, and the system is going to be set up with it. And I still think Obama's in the midst. I sure do. I definitely do. So what I'm looking at is the people in this country. There's so much wickedness in this country to the darkness has reached the kingdom, and the people down here acting like, you should hear people talking about, yeah, he should bomb Iran, or he should. That's what this. He should have killed those kids in the school. All kind of old stupid stuff, because that's the heart of the people. Is the country itself. Now, the moment something like that happened here, then all the world is in it. They didn't done this to us. Oh, look what they did to the kids. And as you see how double standard they have, double in their mental state of mind, which is sick. In their mental darkness, they are sick. They can see it. They can see over here things on regarding black people, but they can't see that they are the number one wicked in darkness. We can be called black, even though we're not black. We're melanin skinned people, but you're the black, the true black, the hell bound black. That's what they don't get. They don't get stuff like that. And someone was talking about a young lady married, was engaged by a European man. I suggest that all this racial gathering, marrying, and it's all for a reason that's not right, and it's a very ugly reason why they marry into even these Chinese marrying African women. It's a lot in that. It's more than what many of you all could even understand. It's sickening, but this is what they're doing. This young lady, she probably thought that she had met her king, and she just gonna. Whew, this is not the day, y'all. This is not the day. It's over. It's over. And see, so many people want to be loved. They want to be embraced. They want to be held. They want to be special in someone's lives. But y'all be careful out there thinking that it's going to get better for you in that way. Because 99.9 of individuals, they haven't even seek or a desire to seek the kingdom first. They just want what they want in the flesh. So I, Sister Deborah, say I appreciate each and every last one of you all in the live. And I will be back. And I hope you got something out of it. And I say unto you all, shalom and shalom.